Hey, hi there. This is Murli Sundram, your happiness coach, talking to you with no agenda right now. Okay, so the topic of today is do we really have to live life with agenda or without agenda? That's the topic which I'm going to share with each and one of you because everywhere you go in the corporate world and the business world, even when I go for a training, everyone asks what's the agenda for the day? Okay, what are we going to talk today? But always life is full of agendas, right? And interestingly, every human being whom you meet, they also have their own agenda, yes or no? So here is a question to you. Do you think that we can live life without agenda? Is there a possibility to have life without agenda? Okay, if you think though, just go ahead and comment below. Can you think that we can live life without agenda? That's the topic of today's Facebook Live, and I have no agenda for this particular Facebook Live video also. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and post your questions on the comment box, and I will answer your question because I don't have any agenda. Because agendaless life is a better life to live. So that's the reason why the topic of today's session is also live life without agenda. Is it possible to live life without agenda? And if we have agenda, what will happen to our life? Now, what will happen? I have worked in the corporate world with lots and lots of agenda. So Jay Nair says, yes, we need some agenda. Are you sure, Jay? I don't know. So if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and comment below. But I will tell you why agenda is not required. When you have an agenda, then you have to go within that framework, and everything has to get stuck into that particular topic only. And sometimes people inside your team, outside your team, people around you may not agree with your agenda. People live life with agenda. People run business with agenda, and people, they even have friends with agenda. So everywhere, if you see, everywhere life is full of agenda. Here is the flip side of it. Is there a way in which we can live without agenda? Okay, that's why we wait to get retired to live without agenda. Divya Mittal, beautiful point over there. So why do you want to wait till the retirement to live a life without agenda? How can you live right now without any agenda itself? That means what? What do you mean by life without agenda? It means you don't have any expectations for anything and everyone. That means you want to do some work for someone, go ahead and just do that action, okay, without any agenda. That means you don't have any expectation. You are not worried about how the outcome is going to come. Your job is to only provide the service, provide the action. Once that is done, get out of it. That's how spiritual masters used to live. Okay? Spiritual masters, if you observe very closely, they just perform their task and they just exit once the task is over. Yes or no? So without having agenda, how can we give directions to our deeds or acts? Please elaborate. Heyman, thank you very much for that question. See, there are a few things that you need some agenda. There are a few things you don't need agenda. Right? For example, if you're doing a team meeting in your company, okay, and obviously you are doing a team huddle, probably you will have a small framework of how the whole meeting should be. But you will not have a hidden agenda that I'm going to tweak this guy, I'm going to play with his mind, I'm going to play games with this guy so that this guy will perform better, or I will play something or the other, or probably I will do some interesting way in such a way that I can sell this product to my customer. That's where the agenda lies in. How about we doing in a little different way of living life without agenda? Have you tried living life without agenda? What will happen? Tell me what exactly will happen if you live your life without agenda in your life. That means in a meeting, with your family members, with your friends, in your business, wherever you go, just imagine you start living life. Just practice this for one day, probably for 1 week. Just check what exactly happens. Okay? There are many days in my life where I have just gone into my meeting without any agenda. You know what exactly has happened in those meetings? Since I didn't had any agenda, what happened is people around me created their own agenda. So the best part is the meeting went very well. People took ownership of the whole meeting and they performed better itself. So that's the reason why if you are a leader of an organization, if you walk into a meeting without agenda, okay, so there are two things can happen. Either it can go completely busted and people have zero direction which directions to go, or probably in the first 1 or 2 times it may be difficult, but once people get used to it, they know that this guy is only going to ask me questions. I only have to come up with the whole answer. your team members will start creating the whole framework for you. So that's a very easier way to live life in a better way, because I have found out that my team members perform better in my absence. Isn't that an irony? That when I am not giving them a direction, they find their own direction. But remember, I have given them the authority, I have given them the ability to make some decisions. I am okay if they make some mistakes. You need to have that kind of a mindset. Then only it's possible for you to guide your team members. Otherwise, it's not at all possible. So that's the reason, if you have to live life without agenda, if you have any questions, go ahead and post your questions on the comment box. I will also share with you, because this whole Facebook Live is no agenda Facebook Live. That means I have zero idea what I'm going to speak. Okay, so based on your questions, I'm speaking. So that's the power of no agenda meeting. That means you sit and meet with the team, and they will come up with their own agendas. And all you need to just guide whether it is in line with the whole principle and the values of the organization. Is it in line with the values that you can deliver to your customers? So just see whether everything is in value system. If anything goes out of the value system, then you may have to bring them back itself. At the micro level, we may require an agenda, but at a macro level, we don't need agenda. Ranjan Kumar Varnashi, thank you very much. That's a brilliant point. So if you look very closely, there are two ways we live life. One at a micro level, one at a macro level. Yes or no? At the macro level, we have zero idea where life is going forward. Okay, maybe you will know for today. Probably you can do to-do list of today. But can you create a to-do list of next 1 year? Not possible, right? Did we ever thought that before the month of March that our life will be like this? The whole year is going to be like this? No. So obviously, agenda doesn't make any sense at all in our life. So that's the reason I am going to ask each one of you, are you ready for an agenda-less life for next 30 days? Is there a possibility? Do you think I know that sometimes it is little wacky, sometimes it is little scary to live life without agenda, but go ahead and try this. I have tried this many times in my life. I start by telling my students that you need to have a to-do list, you need to have an agenda, you need to have a goal. But slowly, when they come closer and closer to me, I end up in telling, drop the goals in our life, drop these to-do list in your life, drop all these plans in your life. Let's have a goal-less, agenda-less, effortless living. If you can live life like that, that means there's no goals, no plans, no agenda, no deliverables, nothing, everything. You just have to live life as it flows, because sometimes you have no idea how the next second is going to be. This is how our spiritual masters have actually asked us to live. Can you live life with curiosity? That means, can you live life without knowing what's going to happen next? Don't plan everything, because sometimes you plan something and something else happens in our life. Yes or no? So can you live life with curiosity, with a very interesting twist that you eagerly wait for how the life will open up? There are many situations in our life right now. We don't know exactly how it's going to flow right now, right? There are a lot of uncertainties. We don't know how the job market is going to be. We don't know how the business is going to be. We have zero idea how the world is going to be, right? So what's the point in creating an agenda and then break your head? Because the minute you create an agenda, it means what? You have created an expectations also. And when you have expectations, that becomes the source of all our suffering. Yes or no? Source of all our suffering comes with expectations, and expectations comes with hidden agenda. Some people have an open agenda. Some people with whom we go through in life have hidden agendas in our life. Is there a possibility? This is only the whole objective of today's this particular Facebook Live is to stimulate your mind, is to stimulate your thinking, and to see whether you can live life without an agenda. So right now in my life, I have zero agenda in my life. I don't plan any to-do list and all. I just live life as it falls, as it flows through. So that's a very interesting way to live life. Initially, it will be super difficult. Initially, living life as per the flow is very challenging, is very difficult. But as we start living life in a flow, as it comes to you, it's actually very interesting. You know what? When you live life as per the flow, that means you are allowing the nature's agenda to take over. Wow, that's a very interesting point, There are two people. One, either you can, with your little intelligence, with your egoistic mind, you can create your own agenda and believe that the world and your life is happening as per your requisite, or just drop down all your expectations and egos and agendas and plans When you start going with the flow of life, you are going with the flow of the nature's agenda. Yes or no? So there are a lot of things, this one pandemic is actually teaching each and one of us. And this is one interesting lesson I got in my life also. This is what I've been practicing for a long time. But what I realize is there are lots of friends and leaders with whom I'm talking to. They are also slowly moving in this particular direction and slowly understanding the magnanimity of the universe, understanding the whole creation itself, that this is how life is going to be. So, it's also Deepak Jaitan is asking if it's also possible, sir, if a leader has no agenda, his team will have no direction. Don't you think that in that case it will mislead the team? Deepak, it's very interesting. Whenever you are running an organization as a leader, I borrow a principle from Dr. Maria Montessori. Okay, if you have heard about, it's a very interesting spiritual curriculum for children. She always says, whenever you're teaching children, you will always give them a huge freedom with an invisible boundary. Yeah. So there is huge freedom with an invisible boundary. That means only you know the boundary, but the children may not know. So that's called freedom with invisible boundary. Similarly, when you're dealing with team members, you give them an invisible boundary by putting the framework of the organization, the values of the organization, and tell them how we all have to behave with our clients, with our members. When you put that whole framework, you will not believe the whole team. That's all about the culture of the organization. So as a leader of the organization, our job is to set the culture, and lest everything will fall into the whole space of the culture itself we are talking about. So go ahead and try this. It's a long shot. It's a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. It will always happen. So let the team take over. See, the best part is large successful organizations, the leaders are not micromanaging. If you look very closely, they're always thinking far ahead. That means they only not far ahead means not years and years, though they plan that, but unfortunately we don't know what and all will happen. My suggestion is just put some framework and allow the team to take over. They will run the meeting and you happily enjoy how they are performing. If they need some help and support, give them that help and support. So that's the reason I'm telling you, it's very, very simple and easy to run business. It's very simple, easy to run family. It is very, very easy to live your own life. All you need is live life without an agenda. Okay, so don't you think, Murli, life without an agenda is a sign of intellectual laziness? Anand Sethi, look very closely. Living a complicated life requires more effort. Living a very happy life requires less effort. So here is a question to you. After putting all your agendas in place, okay, every day you plan, every day you have an agenda, is your life exactly happening in the same way? No, absolutely not. Instead, why you want to complicate your life by putting that way? Instead, just allow yourself to go with the flow of life, which is the most difficult thing in the beginning part of it. So it is actually not the intellectual laziness, it is the highest level of applying the intellect of you. Thereby you will allow the creator to guide you in a bigger way. Thereby you drop your egoistic mind. Dropping your egoistic mind requires a lot of intellect. Okay, so that's the reason I just said that. For those who need a living proof, read The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. Agenda Life is Possible. I've been enjoying over here. Wow, Ranjan Kumar, thank you very much for sharing that book. Go ahead, if you guys have not read this book, it's a beautiful book, Surrender Experiment. I love that particular book. I have read that book couple of years before. Beautiful book on the power of surrendering. Okay, the most difficult thing in our life is to surrender. Okay, have you surrendered to anything in your life? Have you surrendered to any one person in your life? Have you surrendered to anything in your life? If you understand, you will understand the power of no agenda. Surrendering requires huge amount of grit, willpower, determination. And you need to drop all your egos in your life to just surrender. See, this whole Facebook Live itself, I started somewhere, but it is going in a right sequence. I don't even know what exactly I'm going to speak also. But it's all about how we all can live an agenda-less life. I've been practicing this for a long time in my life. That is, I don't even think what exactly I'm going to speak. I don't even think what exactly I can do. But still, life happens in a beautiful way. Perfectly life. But life happens in the right way itself. So that's the reason why In this video, I am suggesting each one of you guys to think of living life in an agenda-less world. Go ahead. Should we stop our daily task list for marketing tool? Chandresh Ji, thank you very much for asking that question. Hey, how about Chandresh, instead of you doing it, outsource it to someone else so that you live an agenda-less life? Because when you don't have an agenda, when you live an agenda-less life, your thinking faculty is very high and you start resonating with the whole universal thinking. So instead of thinking small things, you start thinking in a bigger way. Okay, so how about you outsourcing that work to someone else? Thereby you free yourself, free your time, and see how you can live life on a larger purpose instead of your smaller purpose. Okay, good, thank you very much for that question. Thank you. So that's the whole objective of this particular Facebook Live, which has zero agenda. Okay, so that's the reason why I just opened up the camera and I started speaking. Okay, go ahead. If you guys have any questions, you go ahead and post the question. I will answer the question. Otherwise, if you like this particular content I just shared with you, go ahead and share this Facebook Live with your friends and family members. Okay, Anand Sethi is asking, how do we train our 600 million plus youngsters below 30 in India? Anand Sethi, forget training others. Can you just train yourself first? Is the question I always ask. This is an egoistical approach that I'm going to change the whole world. The world requires a change. Hey, world doesn't require any change. World is being operated by an universal intelligence which knows exactly how it has to flow. But it's only that it's that human egoistic mind which always says that we need to go and transform the world. We need to bring change in the society. So that's one level of need identification. So some of the egoistic people would like to connect with that, and they get that self-ego satisfied once they do that. You know what happens after that? Once that is done, they're still searching for the real actualization in their life. So instead of going around the world and training everyone or changing the whole world, let's first change ourselves. When we change ourselves, people will get inspired. Maybe they will get changed. That's the easier way to look at life itself. Okay. So if you look at my question for this Wednesday, I've asked the same also. Whenever we set a tight agenda, I end up beating up myself for not meeting all of them, surrendering to a highest spiritual activity. Kumar Raja, beautiful point. Whenever you set an agenda, you suddenly put yourself in a deeper pressure and you want to run behind that particular task. And you know what happens? We all set goals like that. We all set tasks like that. And it says 5 or 10. And you know what happens by the end of the day. Okay, a lot of the routine distractions take over us, energies get sucked, and we are not able to complete that particular task, and you feel a little depressed. You feel frustrated that you are not able to achieve the goals of the day. Instead of living a fulfilled, happy, satisfied day and going to sleep happily, you go with little bit of that worry and pity inside you that you are not able to achieve that particular aspect of life. Okay. How to surrender? Nishant Dalal, beautiful question. Okay. It's a very, very interesting question. How do you surrender? Okay, it should start with small things. You should start with small things of how do you surrender. Okay, first you stop taking the to-do list of the day. Okay, remove that. Okay, and first remove all the goals in your life and see what happens to your life. Okay? And you will find that the life actually flows faster than you have ever imagined in your life itself. And mindfulness is one particular method which will teach you to come into the present moment of now, because to surrender, to experience the power of surrender, we need to quieten our mind. For that, we need to have a lot of breaks and pause in our activity, because what I see is every human being, though they call themselves as human being, being means what? You should be in that particular moment, okay? But most of them are not behaving like human being. All of them are behaving like human doings. They are doing one after another task only, right? So they are actually doings in life instead of beings in life. So how do you start this whole experiment? By having a day which has lot of space in between. That means once you complete one, say for example, you're busy doing some task, then there has to be a gap between one task to another task. Okay, practice lot of doing nothing sessions. That means do nothing. That means in your you sit and do nothing, literally. That means you are not checking your mobile, you are not checking your laptop, you are not talking to anyone. You're just sitting chumma doing nothing. Okay, see whether you can add that space first, okay, that empty space in your whole planning, okay, in your whole day, not the planning, even if you're planning, okay, for example, even if you can't get out of the planning habit, see how you can actually have some gaps in your whole day. Say for example 9 to 10 you've worked, 10 to 11 don't work at all, give a huge break, do nothing, okay, do nothing. That means you're not doing anything there. So that's one way of practicing, okay, getting ready for surrendering. And slowly you will understand that there is a higher power which guides us in the right way, because once you quieten your mind, you will understand the difference between that inner voice which tells you, that intuitive voice which tells you how to lead your life in a very simple and easier way, in a very lighter way itself. So you start with breathing exercise, mindfulness exercise, lot of doing nothing exercise. You will slowly figure out, okay, slowly you will figure out the power of silence and the power of surrender. And whenever you want to surrender, to whom you want to surrender is the next question you will ask. Some people surrender themselves to a higher power which they call themselves as God, or or some people surrender themselves to the master because they are unable to understand the abstractness of the God or the creator. So that's the reason in our culture we always say, can you surrender to your master or a guru? Because when you surrender to your master, the master actually allows you to perceive what is meant by the true surrender itself, okay. So that's a little philosophical statement I just made. Go ahead and try surrendering as part of your process. It's a journey, okay. So it's not something which can be explained in words, because there is because you can't explain in English language or anything else. It's a very unique feeling you get when you just surrender to the whole flow of life, okay. You can surrender to flow of life, you can surrender to the master, you can surrender to the divinity, or you can surrender to the ego of yourself, okay. That's what majority of them are doing, surrendering themselves to money, surrendering themselves to power and fame, and that's the reason they are running one behind the other, okay. They want to make more and more money. It is not satisfying them. So every human being, if you look very closely, they are in the process of surrendering. Some of them have understood, some of them have not understood the power of surrender. Wow. The whole talk has gone in a different direction, right? That's the power of living an agenda-less life itself. When you live life without agenda, see how the whole talk, if you have been with me for the last 20 minutes in this call, you would have understood that I started this talk without any agenda, but how beautifully the topics has flown. Okay, but did it flow from me? No. I don't claim any ownership of whatever I'm speaking. It is just flowing. That's all. So that's the power of flowing. That's the power when you just surrender without even knowing what to do. So go ahead and try a Facebook Live like this. Open your camera and then just surrender to the flow of the words. That's another method to surrender. So I'm just giving you various examples as the flow comes through me, okay. So I am not thinking anything, I am not planning anything, I am just sharing with you for the question how to surrender, okay. So if you guys really loved this particular talk, go ahead and share this particular talk on your Facebook, on your WhatsApp, so that some people will get benefited, because a lot of people are holding very heavy in their heart, okay. They're holding heavy, a lot of things are holding themselves to achieve their real potential in their life, okay. It's like, Spider-Man wants to fly, but there is a huge 1,000 kilos of weight pulling him down. Do you think Superman or Spider-Man can fly? No. Similarly, we are holding too many things in our life. Too many past incidences are holding us. Our worries and anxieties are pulling us down. So only when you just free yourself, okay, so you need to let go of those weights and then surrender to the flow of life. You will fly along with life itself, okay. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me a question. If you don't have any questions, it's very good, fantastic, because even I don't know any question. Thank you very much guys for watching this particular live, where I am talking with no agenda, and I'm just asking each one of you to live a life without agenda, okay. Do you think it's possible? What do you think after hearing me for such a long time? After listening to me, do you think it's possible for you to live a life without agenda? Agenda-less life. No agenda, wherever, whatever you guys doing, okay? Try this. Try this one experiment in your life and you will be surprised. I can tell you, you will be surprised with the way in which life actually. Thank you, Anand Sethi, for sharing. You will be really surprised with the way life is very compassionate. Actually, life becomes more compassionate when you start living an agendaless life. Try this, okay? I am a guy who actually teaches the first set goals in life, set to-do list in life, become more productive. And when people come to the last level, I end up in telling them, don't set any of those things. Okay, have written a book on this, Crack the Creation Code. Wow. Ranjan Kumar, thank you very much. Okay, guys, Ranjan has just shared a very interesting point in the comments. If you just check, he has written a book called Crack the Creation Code. It's available on Amazon. Ranjan, thank you very much for sharing that. And if you guys have not read that book, I strongly request you guys to check it out in Amazon. And he can, because he resonates with whatever I'm saying right now. That's a beautiful book, Ranjan. I will check out in Amazon also. And people, if you also got an opportunity, go ahead and check the very interesting book written by Ranjan Kumar Varanasi, who is just watching this video live, and he has commented right now. He has written a book called Crack the Creation Code. Wow. Isn't that a very interesting name, Cracking the Creation Code? Do you have any agenda? Vijay, absolutely no agenda. People end up in asking, how the hell you are so happy? Because I have no agenda, I have no expectation. If it happens, very good. If it doesn't happen, excellent for me. So I live with that one attitude. So thereby, no tension. Koi tension nahi hai. So since there is no tension, live life happily. Okay. So thank you very much for asking me this particular interesting question today. And and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop this question. And I have no agenda right now, and whenever the flow stops, I will stop. Okay, so till that time I will keep flowing. What is letting go? Okay, some people have asked me this in the question. Letting go is a process of it's not giving up. Remember, some people think that letting go means giving up. It's not giving up. Okay, we are not giving up on something. We already know. For example, someone hurted you. Okay, you become aware that they have hurted you. Okay, you become aware. You become more compassionate that they hurted you because of the ignorance or arrogance, and you just let go. You accept them as they are. So that comes, acceptance comes over there in letting go. Awareness comes in surrendering. Okay, so there is a small slight difference. Awareness is required for surrendering. Acceptance is required for letting go. So that's the difference. So it's a two big words. Beautifully asking difference between awareness and acceptance. Most of the people today are struggling with both these things. They are neither accepting what is happening in their life or what has happened in their life, nor they are sometimes not even aware of the whole creation, whole life, what exactly to happen. When is your next course? Anurag, no idea. I don't have any course, no agenda and all. Oh, thank you very much for that question. Thank you. Okay, guys, so with this, I think I should wrap up. Should I wrap up or should I continue to talk? I have no idea because there is no agenda over here. So go ahead and practice some of these things which I just shared with you right now. Practice breathing, practice meditation, practice, journaling, surrendering, accepting people and situations as they are. And is life filled with all of only happiness? No, life will always go through ups and downs only. It is never a straight line. If the life is a straight line, then it means you are dead. So it's like the ECG graph. It will go up, it will come down. That's okay. Have fun with that. Otherwise, the whole fun in the life will be boring, right? So, it's like the TV drama. Have you seen any of these TV serials? Though I don't watch, but I end up in hearing all those things. But once upon a time I used to watch, and even today if I go, the TV serials are the same. Have you seen any TV serials or episodes? They do that zoom in and zoom out and make them ta-dang, music and all they make them do. Just imagine, nothing of those things are there. Do you think you will watch that serial? No. Similarly, life also will be boring. Life also will be boring if it's just one monotonous. Maybe go ahead and try this experiment. Take a camera, ask someone to record your life for half an hour. Take the mobile camera, ask someone to follow you and record your life for 30 minutes and upload that video in YouTube. Do you think that will become a super hit video? No, it will not, because there is no special effects, there is no editing, there is no zoom in and zoom out, pan in and pan out and tada music, or no villain is there. So that that's the reason why Life always throws you all these challenges and situations to you just to test whether you are ready to enjoy life or not. So go ahead and whenever you do a close, please put me in cheers. Anurag, Chandra, thank you very much. I have a lot of online courses already, Anurag. I have an online happiness university itself where I keep sharing all these thoughts as it comes to me. You can visit unlimitedhappiness.com. Okay, happiness has a Y in it, not a I in it, because I believe that only when the I is removed, true happiness will flow through it. So it's called www.unlimitedhappiness.com, where I keep sharing every day one interesting lesson to my community members. So I made everything online, teach everything online, share everything online. So it's a mix of body, mind, emotion, and spirituality, all the four quadrants, because some people understand this, some people understand that. So it's a mix of everything. That's the reason. Very interesting question by Adesh. How to find priorities in life? Okay, very interesting question. To answer how to find priorities in life, I think we need to find out what the hell exactly I want to do with life. Okay, then that question will go to the next question: what the hell is life is all about? Okay, then next question will take you to the next thing: why the hell this life is like this? Then that will take you to another question: why life? Who created this? Who the hell created this? Sometimes if you get hungry, you will start thinking like that. So every question can actually take you to another question if you look closely. Okay, but of how to find priorities in life, I think on a material plane living, you can think of what exactly you want to achieve in your life right now. If you want to, say for example, if you want good health, then your priorities will be based on that. If you want money, then your priorities will be based on that. So go ahead and ask yourself what exactly you want. Okay, what exactly you want in life. Based on that only your priorities will flow. If you do not know what you want in life, you will flow along with the priorities of people around you or people who will control you. So it's up to you whether you want to find out your goals and priorities and purpose in life, or you can live for somebody's priorities and purpose in life itself. So Adish, I hope I answered that particular question of how to find priorities in life. Go ahead. In my Unlimited Happiness University, there is a separate course called 7 Ways to Find Your Purpose in Life. Okay, go ahead and attend that particular, it's a 90-minute session I took, where I actually said 7 ways in which you can actually identify your purpose in life. Because once you have your purpose in life, your priorities will flow according to the purpose. Thereby you will understand that whatever action and habit and behavior I am performing every single moment is in line with the purpose in life, the higher purpose in life. How do you see our brick and system sustaining and becoming relevant for the coming generation? Anand Sethi, if I have to be very blunt in that particular question, the current education system, if you look very closely, you and me are victims of that particular system. Last 40 years, 50 years, that's what is happening. And look around. Okay, what does exactly this current education system has created? If you ask me, more than successful people, it has created more patience in the world. Okay, more people who are depending upon the system again and again. So literally the current education system has not produced more success. It has produced a very tiny success, but it has produced more people to become patients in their life itself. So it means what? Why do you think people have become patient? Okay, patient means I'm talking about healthcare patients, health related patients. Why do you think they've become patient? Because they wanted to do something, but the whole education system created them to do something else. So that becomes a conflict inside the human being. But I'm sure that you all know that there are a lot of people after 35, 40, they decided to quit their job and they want to live their life of passion. Why couldn't they have done that at the age of 20 itself? Because the system didn't allow them to do. There's only one system. Look at the whole interesting education system. LKG, UKG, 10th standard, 12th grade, college, go to job. And then what happens? After job, promotions, work very hard so you can grow up in your career. Then what happens? All the banks will follow you, they will give you enough loans, and then they will ask you to settle a very good life, and you end up in borrowing a lot of money. And then what happens after that? You buy a home, because everyone tells you that buying home, you save tax, which is one of the most stupidest thing you can ever think of. Okay, and what happens after that? Then people say that, wow, you're well settled, you have a home, you have a car, but they don't understand everything is by loan. And you get married. What happens after that? After marriage, kids. After kids, schooling for the kids. And after that, what happens? The same chakkar, right? And you're going to do the same to them, tit for tat. It happened for me, let the kids also go through the same thing. So that's the reason why the whole current system needs a see-through change. It will happen. Okay, slowly more people are becoming aware of the whole system. The best way is the parents have to become little open. Some of them are struggling because of their economy, because I think you and me will agree with me that reason why our parents pushed us into this particular method, because of the economy. They didn't have money. They saw people who had good education. They were able to settle well in life. They were able to live a better lifestyle than them. So they pushed us. At that time, we never had this kind of technology or the knowledge that is available. So that happened. But now the whole world is different. The technology is a game changer over here, and our children can learn everything sitting at their home. My elder kid is doing homeschooling, and she can learn everything at home. So instead of having the pressure of the school, the assessments and the whole system, she has the flexibility to learn multiple things right now. So we need to think differently so that we can give a better life to our children. So a lot of parents need to become more open in that. So that's the reason I always think that there has to be a different approach in the whole schooling system itself. Okay, so thank you. I think that is a good question. Thank you. It's a never-ending process. Absolutely true. Thank you. Adesh is asking, is Chanakya Niti worth following or Swami Vivekananda? Adesh, Chanakya Niti, Vivekananda, forget both. Can you just follow Adesh Soni, the true self of Adesh? Okay, to understand that, okay, sometimes it may be little abstract whether to follow this or that, because both are abstract right now. So take any one path, it doesn't matter, because all the rivers, tributaries of the river ends up in the same ocean only. So every path will lead to the same ocean only. So it doesn't matter, whatever your heart tells you, which suits your style, your passion, your skill, go ahead and follow that particular path of life itself. Adesh, go ahead and apply both, or go ahead and try both, or just try any one. Go very deep into that until you realize that every path takes you to the same destination only. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and post a question and I will be very happy to answer. And I'm sitting in my terrace because this is my everyday evening activity, to sit in the terrace, because lockdown, nowhere to go. So obviously this is the best place to sit in my terrace and then enjoy some nature. So before it gets dark, go ahead and post your question, because once it is dark, I can't do this Facebook Live. Thank you. So thank you very much. I hope you guys are really enjoying this particular live session. If you guys really love this particular talk, go ahead and share so that someone will get benefited. So this is all about agenda-less talking, and see how agenda-less talking has taken us. Why? I didn't create the agenda, I didn't create the content, everything was created by the questions were asked by some of our viewers, and I'm just answering them without even knowing what exactly I'm going to answer. How to survive in the current scenario by doing nothing. Hardik, current scenario, sometimes when you don't do anything, that may be a best strategy also, because we don't know how the whole business world is going to move forward. Yes or no? Some of them have, someone asked me recently, sir, can I start a new business right now? Can I invest a little bit of money and start a new business? But we don't know how the whole world is going to be, right? So sometimes doing nothing is a better strategy than doing something itself. Okay. So, but again, you have to take you need to take your own you need to apply a little bit of your intelligence right now to decide how to survive. Because Hardik, you asked how to survive. Actually speaking, survival doesn't require too much of intelligence. Okay, survival means what? 3 times eating, 1 cloth to wear, and a roof at the top. Yes or no? So obviously survival doesn't require huge amount of effort or work. It requires only minimum amount of effort only for survival. Okay, only excellence requires too much of effort, too much of thinking and all these things. So doing nothing, you can still live a happy and peaceful life right now. Once things settle, once the mud settles, probably you can do something great. So use this current scenario for thinking. Use this current scenario for pause in your life, so that something new will emerge out of it. It's like the old story. I don't know whether you have heard about this old story, where in a river, okay, there was one hippopotamus which was busy swimming, and as it was swimming, okay, suddenly its eye fell down, okay, and it really got panicked and started searching everywhere, moving all the mud everywhere, and then trying to find out the whole eye where it fell down. And it created the whole mud of the whole river to come out, and all their friends, all the hippopotamus friends asked, hey, what are you doing? And the hippopotamus said, you know what, my eye fell down, I am trying to find out where exactly, so I am trying to clear the whole mud so that I will know. Then some of the friends said that, hey, you want to find where is your eye, can you just do nothing and stand still? And the hippopotamus just stood still for some time, and once the mud cleared, it was able to spot the eyeball which fell down on the river, which was down right in below the feet. Okay, so there are a lot of times in our life, everything is there right below our feet itself, but we are very in a panic mode, we ignore the golden opportunity. So the COVID situation has given us an amazing opportunity to put a pause button, think, reflect how you really want to live life, what exactly is life. It will open up bigger doors also. Go ahead and try this strategy. How to free ourselves from the past memories and move ahead in life. Kishore, beautiful question. Very simple, Kishore. You have to first accept it's a past memory. Okay, so it means what? It's a memory. It means what? It has already happened. So is there a way in which you can go back and mend anything? Is there a way in which you can go back? No, it can't. Okay, so logically you can't even go back also, because we don't have a time machine to go back to the past and repair anything. Whatever has happened is happened. Okay, there are only two choices right now. Either you can go back to the past again and again and again and start living that memory in your mind. And whenever you live the past memory in your mind now, okay, according to this brain, it is happening right now, and it ends up in producing the same chemicals and hormones and the same feeling, and you end up in reliving the movie again and again and again. So the best is, why are you reliving the past again and again, is because you have not accepted what has happened in the past. The minute you accept this is what has happened, this is my reality, once you accept, the past stays behind. If you don't accept whatever has happened, it will haunt you again and again and again and again and again. So the best way to get rid of it is accept it has happened, let go with full awareness, just let go. So if you want to give forgiveness to people, go ahead and forgive people. If you want to forgive yourself, go ahead and forgive yourself. Whatever has happened has happened. You can't change. That's what you have to understand. We cannot change. Okay. What one thing that we can change is this particular moment. Should I really live my past, or can I just live now? That's the only choice we have right now. Go ahead and live that particular choice. Make that choice of living only this moment of life, not the past nor the future. Okay. I know it looks very theoretical. Only when you start practicing it is possible. Okay. Ramana Bhagavan said same. Guru, enna pannana romba கஷ்டமா இருக்கு பகவான் ரிப்ளை சும்மா அது. Thank you. What Chella says is that Sri Ramana Maharishi also said this. Just sit still, do nothing. Thereby you will actually achieve more in your life itself, because ultimately that's what you will end up in. Okay. I keep on telling, okay, yesterday I was telling someone who was asking me this question, so what will happen if I make a wrong decision? I always say apply the 10-10-10 rule, because I was reading a book called 10-10-10, a book itself, the name of the book, I forgot the author of the book. And what it says is that whatever decision you are going to make, okay, ask yourself 10 minutes later how you will feel about that decision, how you will feel about that decision 10 months from now, how will you feel about that decision 10 years from now. So based on that you make a decision. Isn't that a very funny thing to make a decision, even for, because I think every minute, every second we are making lots and lots of decisions in our life. Yes or no? Life is a series of decisions. Like every second we are bombarded with some kind of an action, and that action is based on some kind of a decision we are taking. So obviously we need to take an action. So we are bombarded with lots and lots of situations where we have to take action, right? So life is a series of action. Life is a series of decision. Whenever you are taking a decision, ask yourself to apply this 10-10-10 rule. 10 minutes later, how do you feel? 10 months later, how do you feel? 10 years later, how do you feel? And I will always suggest you, if you made a wrong decision in the past, it's okay. With the past maturity, with the past experience, you made that mistake. It's okay. you have to accept that when you did one, maybe when you would have made a mistake sometime before, but that is with that particular maturity, that with that particular day's experience. Okay, as the day progresses, we are changing. So today it is a different day, and you don't have to hold on to the past decision. You should also know how to let go of the old decisions and move on to the new decision also. So thank you for that question. Okay, I hope you guys are really enjoyed this particular Facebook live. I think it is becoming dark, and it's time for me to say bye to everyone, so that I can go ahead and live one more agendaless life for the evening. So thank you very much, guys, for being with me in this very interesting live session. I hope you really enjoyed, and if you really enjoyed this particular video, go ahead and share this video. And whenever you get an opportunity, visit my website www.unlimitedhappiness.com. I keep on sharing lots of nuggets of wisdom on every dimensions of life, just not only in spiritual dimension, in every possible understanding and experience of my life. So thank you very much for being with me in this particular live video. Thank you, and have a fantastic day ahead. But remember to live an agenda-less life and day ahead. Tada, bye-bye, see you.